Hello, welcome back. So in this video I'm going to mount the GPS, compass GPS, and the radio receiver. I'm going to check the motors out, check the ESCs, probably update B-Heli, load up BlueJ using pass-through so that I can use notch calibration and check that the motors are working correctly and in the right order and giving me feedback. So sounds like a lot, but I don't think it's going to take very long. So let's get started. So let me switch over here. Okay, so got the copter here, and if you remember last time I calibrated the flight controller, I calibrated the compass roughly, and I set up the radio receiver. I put a little bit of heat shrink on the radio receiver because it comes with heat shrink, and also if you remember I had to flip the power supply end to end because the power distribution board, the power connector is here at that end, you can see in there. So actually I might just plug that in now, so pop that one in there, put that there. Right, so that's plugged in. That's going to pop there, and I will probably wire up the motors. So I'm going to do the motors on the aux output, so that's FMU out here that you can see, and Holybro have nicely labelled the motors M1 to M4 so I know which order to get, and the signal, which is this white one, is on the top, ground on the bottom. So this is M1, it's going to go in aux 1. We've got 2 and aux 2, 3 and aux 3, and M4 and aux 4 there. Good. I might just pull these motors out of the way a bit. I'm not gonna, I will stick this down, but I'm just going to leave it just a little bit longer because just in case something goes wrong. But what I am going to do is mount this compass and GPS. You see the nice little arrow on the here pointing forward, and it came with some mounting bolts, which I think is this little packet here, I want to say. Need some scissors. Okay, so we've got these mounting bolts here, which I've no idea whether they go through the top or the bottom, and it probably doesn't matter. So I'll probably stick those through the top there. 1, 2, 3, and that should go nicely in this clever mounting arrangement that Holybro have done here. So it's sort of like this universal mounting that should take any sort of combination of things, but takes this quite nicely there. And then we've got these little lock nuts, which look like something or other lock nuts, which screw on the bottom. I think I can use my little Holybro spanner will work, so I can hold down. I think these are, yep, hex hex nuts. So I'm going to hold this one down. Won't be able to see that probably. Hold that one down and screw it up from the bottom. Nice. Do this one. This one. So the these tools that Holybro provide with the frame are really quite useful for all of this stuff. There we go. Stick that one on. Stick that one on. Don't want to over tighten because it's plastic, but there we go. That's nice and solid now. One of the reasons why originally I put the power distribution on the board the other way around is you can see the battery lead is here underneath and it's closer to the compass. Kind of want to keep the compass away from the battery lead, but it's probably not too bad. Anything less than an inch is going to be bad. So that's 3 inches maybe. Would have been better at the front, but for physical reasons that didn't work. So we got that, and then also we've got this radio receiver, which I think probably what I'm going to do is, well, I don't know really. I'm used to mounting my radio receivers on the back, to be honest. So I think this is Intel M1. I think I'm just going to feed. Oops, unplug this if I can. A little bit stiff. Unplug this one. I'm going to feed this up through the holes here, just so it's a little bit neater. Through this hole here. Plug that in back into telemetry 1. There. I'll do the same with CAN 1 for the GPS. Just can feed up through this hole here, feed up through there, feed up through this hole here, back into CAN 1, which is that one. Brilliant. And then I think the radio, these little dipoles here, which I could quite often you can just put them on little posts. Not sure really what I'll do with them for now. I might just stick this on underneath, might work. It's all a little bit the wire's a little bit too long. I think if I was going to do this a bit more professional, I'd probably crimp up a connector just so that it would be, oh, I've lost a wire there, which must have been the yellow one on the end there. So and I think I will, for now, I'm just going to use one of these little sticky pads that Holybro provides. You provide these little sticky pads, stick it on the bottom of this radio receiver here. Connect this to the bottom. If I can get the, I always find these pads are hard to get off. You need a pin. Usually. Let's use a little pin to pry that. Backing off. He says hopefully. I'm going to press pause because you don't want to watch me struggling with this. Alright, I got the backing off. I'm going to just plonk that under there, I think. It's out the way of the props. I can probably run it along somewhere at some point, but for now that will do. Okay, so got all those things wired up. We've got the power wired up. So the first thing to do before that's going to fit there, which should be good. So the first thing to do is power this up, and I'm just going to check. I want to run this on 6S. Does it say? There's nothing that says whether these ESCs will take 6S or not. I assume they will, but they're a little bit small, so I'm going to just check on the website that they will take 6S. So interestingly, it's not compatible with 6S as far as I can tell, only compatible with 4S, which is a bit of a shame. Fortunately, I have a bunch of quite old 4S big batteries that I used with my 3DR setup. So let's see whether that works. Plug it in. Nice. Alright, seems to be going. And plug in the flight controller. Now, the reasons, so you heard the motors arm there. Well, they didn't arm. You heard them initialize. They didn't arm because the safety switch isn't pressed, and I haven't got a safety switch on this. So the first thing I'm going to do is, because usually it comes with the Holybro GPS, so I'm going to unplug. So I'm going to disable the safety switch. So I'm going to switch back to the computer. Alright, and connect, let's connect up. Let's connect up Mission Planner. Okay, so to disable the safety switch, you want to go to board, safety, and I'm going to set the safety default to 0. Alright, so means the safety switch will come up disabled. So if I reboot the flight controller, let's reboot this. Oh, interesting. There we go. No, initialize. Should have heard that. Ding, ding, ding. That tone. So it did initialize, and that's because I took the safety switch off. Common mistake for people. Why doesn't it work? They would say, and that's why. And at that point, I think I will pause. Okay, very quick little video on motor ordering. So numpty that I am, I have managed to get the motor order wrong by putting the wrong arms. So you'll see in think in the next video, or the one you've just seen, that I had a problem with motor 4 and motor 2 and they were swapped around the wrong way, and the reason why was that I got motor 4 and motor 2 arms in the wrong slots, so they were swapped over. Now I thought I was very clever. I fixed it all via magic of reordering motor numbers and using B-Heli config to reverse motors, but actually that is all a little bit pointless. It doesn't work, and I'll show you why. So let's switch over. Okay, so the reason why is the props. So if you look at the props here, you can see that some have got a little silver cap to them and some have got a black cap to them. And the black ones are connected to a black motor, black top. The silver ones are helpfully connected to I can't remember which way around this goes. It should be that way. Yeah, there we go. Silver ones are connected to a silver motor, and you can't switch these around, so the threads run in the wrong direction, and so the threads are geared up so that these props are essentially self-tightening. So if the prop turns in the direction that it's supposed to, then that will force it to tighten rather than loosen. So there's basically only one way for the props to go on, and if you get the motors switched as I did, then you can't put the right props on, and so the props need to turn, so the motors turn in, and the leading edge of the prop as it turns in needs to be uppermost. I mean, you can look at, it'll show you counterclockwise, clockwise on the props or on the motor thing, but I just like to remember that they turn in, leading edge uppermost, turn in, leading edge uppermost, same on the back, turn in, leading edge upper. So you have to get them the right way around, and so I've had to switch these arms. If you do get them the right way around, you don't have to reverse anything in B-Heli, you don't have to reverse any of the motor orders, it all just works. So that's my recommendation. Make sure you get the props and the motor arms into the right slots, and they are labelled helpfully here, M1, M3, M2, M4. So it was just me not being able to read, but it was a bit frustrating having to partially disassemble to just switch the arms around. So just make sure you get them right as you're assembling it. It's quite nice, these props, they go on quite nicely, yeah, it sort of makes for some convenience there, not having to tighten them all up. There we go. Okay, so first thing I want to check is the motor order. So I'm going to set up, optional hardware, motor test, and the way the mission planner works is that motor test should be clockwise from front right. So front right in your picture is the top left motor, and I think can't quite see it in frame, might be a little bit tricky to watch, but I'm just going to, yeah, you'll have to trust me. You can see motor A, so this should be front right, so we're going to try front right. There we go. And the other thing it should be doing, all the motors should turn inwards towards the front and the back. So motor A, you can see the little arrows on there, it should turn that way, and it is. And so motor B is back right, and that's incorrect. And then motor C should be back left, that's incorrect, and motor D should be front right, which is correct. So motor 4 and motor 2 are the wrong way around. So do you see that there in Mission Planner? So I'm going to swap those. So we've got server output. We've got motor 2, so I'm going to set that to motor 4. Set motor 4 to motor 2. Go back to motor test. Okay, so motor A should be the same, front left, correct. Motor B should be back right, which it is. Motor C should be back left, which it is. And motor D should be front left, which it is. And then what I need to do is check that they're all moving in the right direction. So I think front left, front right is. Back right does not look like it's moving in the right direction. Back left does not look like it's moving in the right direction. I wonder whether I plugged those in wrong. And then alright, so I'm just going to have a quick look. So since it's hard, I could swap the motor order, I could swap things in B-Heli, but instead what I'm going to do, I think it's going to be easier because of the motor direction. I'm going to put this back to motor 2, this back to motor 4, and then I'm going to switch motor 2 and motor 4 on here. So motor 4 is that one. Motor 2 is that one. I'm going to put motor 2 there. Hot plug. Whoops. Motor 4 there. Not really sure of that hot plug motors, but because of the back ones that are switched, the rotation is switched as well. So I think by switching them around again, I should find that I get both the correct motor order and the correct rotation. So we still got A front right, B. I think that is correct now. C, and then D. So what I will do is I'm going to set this to 20 seconds, test all the motors and just feel the bell just to check it's moving in the right direction. Okay, that's wrong. Interesting. Those are moving in the wrong direction. Maybe I'll put them back again just to see whether it's still true. Okay, so motor 4 here. Do that test again. Still wrong. That one's correct. That one's correct. Alright. Very strange. So I would have thought that switching them would have had the effect. Anyway, B-Heli is my friend, so I've got pass-through set up. So let's connect B-Heli. So here's B-Heli. This is so these are B-Heli S ESC. So I've got the B-Heli Suite 16.7 for B-Heli S, and I've got the Scilabs B-Heli bootloader clean flight interface because this is the one that we support. B-Heli bootloader Scilabs, and I'm going to connect to Autopilot Mavlink port 48, which is what I'm on, and connect. Let's see what we've got. Okay, and read setup. There we go. AH30 B-Heli. It's only 16.6, so that's really old. Wow. B-Heli S itself is really old. 16.7, 16.6 is really old. So, okay, AH30. So what I can do is hopefully switch ESC2 and ESC4 motor direction. So if I go to ESC2, let's turn these off. Okay, so we've got ESC2, motor direction reversed. Okay, right setup. And then ESC4, motor direction reversed. Right setup. There we go. Now, and then disconnect. Back to Mission Planner. Now, probably I need to power cycle these. Don't think I can reboot. Can try rebooting. Reboot. Yes. No, it wants a power cycle. Okay. So oh, maybe. I think I'm going to power cycle anyway. So disconnect. Like this. Plug the battery. We're going to go. So you saw the little red flashing lights there, so that means the gyro is initializing. So I don't like to touch the copter when the gyro is initializing because you can get bad gyro offsets and then trouble later on. So let's try setup. Let's do 20 seconds again. Test all motors. That's now in the right direction, that's in the right direction, that's in the right direction, that's in the right direction. So we want them all spinning this into this way, that way. These ones this way, these ones this way. So because I switched 2 and 4, these are now spinning in. So that is good, perfect. So going to disconnect. Right, so the next thing to do is set up bi-directional DShot. So the way we can do that is using ESC configurator. So this is the BlueJ configurator tool, and so bring that up in the browser, select my serial port, which is COM48. Alright, connect. Yep. Okay, read settings. There we go. Yes, he's red. Perfect. So now I'm going to flash these with BlueJ, which will give me RPM feedback. So flash all ESCs, AH30, but I'm going to pick BlueJ. And I'm going to pick 19.2 PWM frequency. So if in doubt, pick a low PWM frequency. So I'm going to go with 24. You can go higher if the chip supports it, but it's a little difficult to tell whether the chip supports it if you're just doing this back. So I'm going to go for 24. It's a big copter, so I don't think there's anything dangerous about that. So we've got BlueJ, AH30, 24 PWM frequency 19.2 flash. Alright, so here we go. ESC1. Let's turn on the audio capture just by it so we can see ESC2. ESC3. ESC4. Now it's possible, sometimes BlueJ will lose the settings, so I will need to check the motor direction again afterwards. There we go. All done. Disconnect. There we go. And you can hear the nice little BlueJ theme tune there. So to be safe, I'm going to power cycle once more. So let's power cycle. Okay, just waiting, start up, then the blue and red will be the gyros initializing. There we go. And that did means it on. So plug this guy back in. Here we go, connecting up. Whoops. Alright. So 20 seconds. Now BlueJ doesn't support DShot 150 either, so it's a good job I chose DShot 300. So 20 seconds, throttle 5%, test all motors. Go, and the motor direction is wrong again. So we're going to go back to the tool. Disconnect that, go back to the tool, read settings. Brilliant. Okay, so 2, we want motor direction reversed, and 4, we want motor direction reversed. Alright, right settings, bingo, disconnect. See whether this works. No, it doesn't. Alright, so we need a power cycle. Disconnect once more. Disconnect this. Disconnect this. Power cycle. Back we go. Okay, 20 seconds again, test all the motors. Go, and these are spinning in the right direction now. Perfect. Alright. Okay, so BD-Shot we now need. So I'm going to go to config and look at these BLH parameters again, and because this is BlueJ, I can now use BD-Shot, which means setting the same 4 channels, 9, 10, 11, 12 as the BLH mask. Can set that. And DShot ESC, now Mission Planner says that we support EDT. We don't actually support EDT in 4.4, that's a 4.5 feature. So I'm going to set this to B-Heli S, so it's DShot ESC2. Write those parameters. And then that should be enough. So this definitely will require a power cycle. Disconnect again. To be honest, the only thing I need to power cycling is the ESC, so as long as I plug out the power. There we go. Saves a little bit of time. Alright, so got our motors, and this time 20 seconds, test all motors. I'm going to go to the status page here and look for ESC RPM, which is not. I do need a power cycle because the flight controller needs power cycling as well as the ESCs this time because we switched from DShot. So unplug, plug in again. Brilliant. Again. Try that once more. 20 seconds. Test all motors. Data, and here we go. ESC 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 ESCs all going. Perfect. And you should see that when they stop, the RPM values go to 0. There we go, to 0. Very satisfying. Alright, so the final thing to do is just calibrate the radio. So turn on the radio. You remember for CRSF to bind, the radio has to be on first, so I've got my radio on, and there's a power cycle again. What's the power cycle going on here? Alright, so back to this screen. Radio calibration, which is on mandatory firmware. Radio calibration. Calibrate radio. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to do all my sticks to maximum. That's good. Do. 9, 10, 11, 12. I haven't done. Where's 12? This one, no. Can't remember where 12 is. Oh, there we go. There's 12. Okay, so there's my 12 channels when done. Now, interestingly, pitch is this way up. Usually I find with CRSF on RGPilot, pitch is inverted, so I'm just going to change that. So we go to RC3, which is no, not RC3. Usually this is on setup somewhere. Yeah, I can't remember where this is. So my radio calibration is pitch is RC2. Okay, so let's invert RC2. RC2 reversed, yes. Right parameters. And that should then invert pitch. Yeah, which I think is working now, which I find is necessary on RGPilot. Okay, so I am, where are we? So the other thing I haven't said here, of course, is the battery values are now incorrect. So if I go back to the wizard, not that, set up, initial tune parameters. So if you remember, it was 10-inch props, battery cell count is 4. So I'm going to calculate initial parameters, okay, and set those for, okay. That, and I think at that point we should almost be ready to arm. It says fence requires position. Not quite sure why that is, because since we're in stabilize, okay, let's disable the fence. Don't know why that's ready to arm. Okay, so I don't know why that's why fencing is on by default, but it says ready to arm. So let's try arming. Yeah, flashing green. And the other thing I want to check is the motor spin arm versus spin min. So spin arm is when you arm, and then spin min that's not too bad. I would say sometimes spin min and spin arm are set too high. Those are probably okay. We probably could go down a bit. So I might go down a little bit. So spin arm, spin arm, spin min. So maybe I go spin arm 0.08. Don't make it 0.8. I made that mistake before. Spin min 0.1. All right. Try this again. Okay, so that's a slower feel, you can feel there. So I'm happy with that. I think that's slightly less aggressive. So I think I'll leave that at that. Okay, so, and then the final thing, so we've got the initial tuning set parameters set correctly. The final thing I'm going to do is set up the harmonic notch, even before I try and fly this. Now they've got motor RPM. So if we go to our extended tuning page, so you can see we've got the basic PIDs set here, default PIDs, and I am going to enable the harmonic notch here. Flight parameters. Refresh the screen maybe. No, it's trying to get more parameters. Taking a long time about it. Here we go. Connect. Okay, extended tuning, harmonic notch enabled, and then I'm going to pick, I suppose it's something to pick now, pick mode 3, which is tracking motors. I'm going to pick the reference of 1 because I'm tracking the motors. I'm going to leave the frequency, bandwidth and attenuation at the default, and then I'm going to set the options to 2, which means what we've now called multi-source, so track a different notch, different notch per motor. For some reason it won't let me change that, so I'm going to do that in the full parameter list. H notch hot. Alright, easy to set the bit mask. Click this one, multi-source here. Probably what I will also do is click triple notch and update at loop rate, because this is a fast processor, can easily update at loop rate. Triple notch will give us better attenuation, so magic number 22. So there we go. And that is good. So I think that is back to extended tuning. So we've got a gyro filter of where is this? 42, Excel filter of 20. So there's a reasonable default. Probably can go higher than that, but that's a reasonable place to start. Filter D20, you've got the default PIDs. And this is a reasonable place to actually start to want to try tuning. The only other thing I'm going to do is on flight modes, and I'm going to, so this flight mode I like to have in loiter. This is my go-to. That's loiter. Okay. This one is usually stabilized. Why is that not working? So this one.
Stabilize flight mode. Loiter flight mode.
Okay. So normally I have this as alt hold. Okay, so this is the classic CRSF problem. So this is a good thing to demonstrate. So in CRSF, channel 5 can have this weird binary setting. So well, these channels are not binary, and some of these are 3-position switches, and this is middling. Channel 5, which is the classic mode switch, it's only got 2 positions. So I need to refresh my memory about this. So this is a limitation of CRSF, something to do with the way that they map the channels. So I need to check on my CRSF settings what's going on there. So that's definitely something to change, because obviously you can't put flight mode on anything other than channel 5, so it's a little bit of a pain. So I'll figure out what's going on there. But apart from that, this is ready to put some props on and give an initial flight, I think. So thank you for watching.